Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to conclude and reflect on my no buy. Now this has only been going on for maybe 2.5, maximum 3 months, so it's not a particularly long no buy, but I know some people have been interested in how I've been going, so I thought I would wrap this up. It's going to be the last video in this place. I'm moving house the end of the week and we're picking up the keys this afternoon, so exciting times. But I thought I'll get this done quickly so I can make room for concluding my project pan and all that kind of stuff, and favorites of the year and all that kind of stuff can be late December. So they'll be coming in the new house. All right, so the big question is, did I buy anything in the past month? And the answer is yes, I actually did. So I did break my no buy, but I feel like one thing was a necessity and then one thing I sort of made a decision on what I want to do next year with my purchasing, and it sort of worked in with that. So I didn't think it was a big deal. I sort of made a calculated decision to buy it. So the first thing I bought was actually a new phone case. The one that I had been like cracked down here, and I just didn't want to run the risk of like my kid dropping this and breaking my phone. So I thought it is a smart thing to get. So I thought getting a new phone case is a necessity. So I did buy that. And then only about a week or so ago, I decided to buy these two lip products from Ciate. They're the Heat Flip liquid lipsticks, and I bought them because I wanted to review them. Now, I don't have anything like this in my collection. This year I have been going through my 500 odd lipstick collection, and I'm trying to minimize that down to half the size, and I don't have any heat reactive lip products. So there's a red here and a nude here. They're both shades that I thought I'd wear, and I also really wanted to review them. I wanted to give my opinion of them. I wanted to see if they worked on me, and that is what I want to do a lot more next year. So I find that I go through sort of waves where sometimes I'll be really starting to get excited about makeup, and then I sort of buy too much, get overwhelmed, start losing interest, get back into sort of like declutters, project pans. And then once I've been doing that for a while and I'm sick of using the same stuff, I get back into like getting excited about new releases. So it's sort of like a cyclical pattern that happens. And since my channel over the last year or two has predominantly been about testing out my collection, decluttering, using up products, I think in my project pan this year, and don't quote me, I'll conclude it at the end of the year, I probably have used like 60 or 70 items. And then in my empties, I probably used well over 100 products. So I can use a lot of products, and that's great, but it does get to a point where it sort of starts getting boring, and I want to be re-inspired by makeup, and I want to be able to buy things that excite me. And this was one of the items. So because I've told myself I want to up my video content next year, now that my kid is sort of settling and is a little bit easier to work around, I want to do the sort of reviews of my collections and declutters and project pans, but I also want to do more reviews on makeup. So that is why I decided to buy this, and I don't regret buying it. I did do a video about these. I'll link it in the description box, but I bought these as a sort of mentally prepare myself for getting back into reviewing some new and exciting makeup. So that's why I did break my no buy. But in the last month, not only have I been sort of prepping home stuff and moving and things a bit hectic, but also 3 of my closest friends had birthdays in November. So I feel like I'm doing enough shopping and browsing for other people. I don't really feel the urge to do it for me. And Christmas is coming up. I've done no Christmas shopping. So I feel like, again, it's going to be more focusing on buying things for other people and less about buying things for me. So I feel like that any shopping urge I've had has been filled with trying to get things for other people, which has been fine, or getting things for the new place. So I feel like my shopping urges have been met. So my wish list has been really, really small this month. I've taken off a lot of Charlotte Tilbury. So I mentioned last month that I saw Charlotte Tilbury in store for the first time. I did get a sample of that base product, what's it called, like the Flawless Filter product, and a few people asked what I think about it, and I don't see the hype behind it. So that instantly was taken off my sort of wish list. I heard that that was such a great product because it sort of illuminates and adds a little bit of coverage so you can wear it instead of a foundation, and it like blurs imperfections and whatnot. For me, it did none of that. It looked like a liquid illuminator on my face. My redness was still popping through, looking redder than ever, and I was highlighting my flaws by putting liquid illuminator on my face. So for me, it was just like any other liquid illuminator I've tried. So I'm glad I got a sample of that instead of buying it, because I really would have regretted buying it. What's been interesting about my last month's temptation list as well was that even though I still want to delve into more Charlotte Tilbury down the track, I haven't thought about those products since doing that video. I feel like almost when you write a temptation list and you put the products down on your list, sometimes it's like a diary. Sometimes you put your thoughts down and they've gone out of your head, so you no longer think about them. Same goes for Natasha Denona Glam Palette. That was on my temptation list 2 months in a row. I have had no thoughts about that at all this month. I think it's also because I've been packing away my makeup and I've been playing with palettes that sort of give me similar looks, and I've been really enjoying what I have. So I feel like shopping your stash for dupes really works well at curbing that sort of interest in buying something else. And the last thing I had on my temptation list, which I did end up getting, this is the NARS Bijou palette for the holidays. It's still available in Australia. I did do a review on this. I'll link it down below as well. And I saw a few people say that it's either didn't come to their country or sold out really fast. If you're in Australia, I saw this at Mecca yesterday, so there you go. It is still available, but I didn't actually buy this technically. I took the advice of a few people in the comments, and they were saying that when they're on no buys, what they do is they might keep a few items that they can ask people for like birthdays or Christmas. And I think that's a great idea, because you're still getting the makeup that you're really interested in, but you're holding out for it as being a gift. So Haley bought me this for Christmas, and I bought her one as well, because we went to the shops and she was like, oh, it's such a nice palette. I'm like, I know, I've been wanting it for like weeks. And so we end up buying each other a palette for Christmas. So it's technically a Christmas present. So that is also, like I said, a good way to get the special items that you've been lusting after without buying them yourself. So all in all, I don't think I've had any like profound realization doing a no buy. I know a lot of people really use a shopping detox as a way to save money, but also break some really bad habits and sort of reevaluate things. And I think that's good, but I feel like I'm in a sort of different situation where since I do run a makeup channel, yes, you can technically run a makeup channel for a period of time by using what you already have in your collection. But I, at the core of it, really like reviewing makeup. So I like to balance it out with using stuff I've already got, but I also want to bring some new stuff in occasionally. So I can't just go cold turkey and not buy anything, because it really stops an element of this channel that I like doing. So I feel like, yeah, for my situation, I can't do an absolute no buy for years on end until my collection is totally whittled down, because it just doesn't work for the content I create. So what I've decided to do in the new year, instead of doing a no buy or a low buy, I've decided instead that whenever something comes into my life, something else has to go out. So if I want to buy a palette, I need to look at my collection and go, which palette am I happy to get rid of in order to bring that into my life? And that's a good way, I think, to curb my spending, because it makes me have to think, do I want this more than what I've already got? It also makes me look through my collection and realize I probably have something quite similar, but it also keeps my collection at the same number of items. So that's what I think I'm going to do in the new year, and it's going to keep my makeup collection fresher, but also, like I said, make me think more about what I buy and look at what I already have. So that's going to be my way going forward. I'm not going to stop myself buying, but I have to get rid of something as soon as I buy something new. So what I might even do is make that a series that like every few months I might talk about what I've been buying and what I decided to declutter to make way for the things I've bought. So that I think works better for me than a strict no buy. So if you have any suggestions for a good name for that series, I'm thinking like in and out beauty something, I don't know. Let me know in the comments because I'm horrible at naming things, so that would be really helpful. But yeah, so I think what I've learnt from my no buy is, firstly, I think I've got a lot more self-control than I give myself credit for. Also, I am a researcher, and I talked about this in my last update, that I do like to research things and I like to look for sales and I like to buy things when it's, you know, I don't tend to buy things on impulse. I tend to be quite calculated with what I buy. So I feel like I don't really have an impulse shopping issue. I think last year I did buy a lot of stuff, like household stuff, clothing stuff, like stuff. And that might have just been make yourself feel good while in like hundreds of days of lockdown. So I feel like that was a different sort of scenario. But in terms of makeup buying, I'm not as bad as some people might think I am. I'm pretty like calculated. But I do think a couple of tips that I have learned that do work well for me is definitely, if I see something in store, to walk away and think about it for a week. If I'm still thinking about it, then it might be something that I want to introduce. If it's something that I've forgotten about, like Charlotte Tilbury, it's something that I really don't need in my life. And I feel like a good way to sort of keep track of that is a temptation list or a wish list. So if you have like a little note section on your phone or your computer, write down things that really interest you, and then you can look back in a month's time and go, is it something I'm still thinking about? And if it's not, take it off the list. But if it is something that you're still thinking about, if you see a sale coming up or you've got a birthday or Christmas coming up, I know I'm guilty of seeing a sale and be like, oh, I know there's something I want, but I just don't remember what it is. And then sort of spending a lot of time browsing the site and then adding a lot more to my cart, generally abandoning my cart, but sometimes buying. So if you keep a track of things that really interest you and you're still thinking about them over months, at least you know straight away, okay, that's coming up in a Sephora sale. I'll buy that and I'll add it to my cart, and it will stop you browsing the rest of the site. Also, if you've got a birthday or Christmas coming up and you've got like a mum that's like, I want to buy you something, but I don't know what to get you, straight away you've got a list of products that you know you're still sort of really wanting. So I feel like having a wish list and editing that every sort of few weeks or months can really help you realize what you do want and what was sort of like a fleeting impulse. Another thing that's been really helpful is shopping my stash. So if I am really lusting after a cool toned eyeshadow palette like Natasha Denona Glam palette, I can just pull out some palettes that I have in my stash that I think will recreate similar looks, and I can play with those and see if that satisfies my urge. And most of the time it does. Like I was looking at a NARS, one of the newer sort of matte liquid lipsticks yesterday in Mecca, and it wasn't an impulse purchase. I didn't buy it, but I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I do eventually want to try this formula because it interests me and I like NARS and it's something I want to try down the track. But realistically, do I need it in the next few months? No. The answer is no. I've got so many lip products. If I'm not going to wear it tomorrow or the day after or, you know, anything like that, I don't need it right now. So it's really good to think through what you have and sort of use that as a way to stop yourself from buying more of repeat products. Also, you might just find items that you forgot about and forgot that you had and just be so satisfied using that for a couple of months that you really don't need to buy something new to get that feeling. So even though it wasn't a profound experience, I did enjoy doing my no buy, and I'll definitely consider doing like little snap no buys again. I feel like the reason why they work for me anyway is that if you say like out to the universe and to friends and to people that you know, I'm not buying anything. I'm on a no buy. I'm not buying anything until the end of the year or whatever date. It gives yourself permission to say no to things really easily. Similar to when you go on a diet. It breaks bad habits, but it gives you that permission to say, no, I'm going to your birthday, but I won't eat the cake. I'll have the fruit instead. So if you're making yourself accountable for your spending habits or what you eat, you're more inclined to give yourself permission to say no. So I feel like it's a good thing to do, but like a diet, you can't do it forever. You're going to break the diet. You're going to feel bad, probably binge, do all that kind of stuff. So I feel like even though it's good for me temporarily to like break a habit or get a little bit more insight into my spending, you then have to eventually get back to your normal life where you know you're going to buy something. So you just have to figure out ways to introduce better habits long term, if that makes sense. So like a no buy, I know a few people in the comments saying that they've been on no buy for years, and that's great. But again, I can't really do that with this channel. So I just have to make sure I find a way to incorporate mindful purchasing into my daily life. All right, so I'm going to leave you there and I'll see you in the new house in the next video. Don't forget to leave any name suggestions of that video concept of like things I'm getting rid of and things I'm buying, whatever, you understand. If you have any cool names for that, I would love to hear them, and I'll see you guys in the new house. Bye.